Welcome, I'm Dani Walker. Today's episode is a recap of the Miss Universe Philippines 2022 evening gown competition for preliminaries. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope that you'll enjoy it and consider subscribing and also hitting the notifications bell so that you'll know when new episodes are released every week. I'm going to get into this episode right away, and first I'm going to share with you, in no particular order, my first group of contestants that are on the edge for me for the evening gown competition. Then I'll share with you my ultimate faves. First on my edge is Iloilo City. What really saved her performance for me was her final pose. Mandawi, I've loved her throughout the competition. I just really had a hard time getting over this evening gown choice for her. I also thought that she was very low energy for this round of competition. Las Piñas, love the gown on her, love the styling. I just thought that the walk was so slow for a gown. It needed to be sped up a little bit. Kazan Province, really great gown on her. I just felt like the performance for me, when we look at the bigger scope of things, because she went at the end, it fell somewhere in the middle for me. Lucena's gown reminded me of a Colombian gown. I thought that the performance was pretty good, but she really held her nerves in her hands, and that's something that really caught my attention throughout this performance. Now I'm going to share with you about my top picks, of course, in no particular order. We got to keep it a little fun and interesting. First, we're going to talk about Cebu City. What a look, right? Okay, this look was so classic, and even though she wore this black gown, which honestly really could have drowned her on the very dark staging, she could have gotten lost, she didn't. That high slit really added sexiness to it, and this performance overall was just very fun to watch. Albay, loved this gown for her. Great styling. I really want to know who made it. It was really cool because it had this double ultra high slit, so that was unique. And then she did try that little Catriona hair move that we've seen before, and that didn't work out. So I really hope that she gets rid of that for finals if she were to get into semifinals. And also, by the way, I shouldn't have even said it was a Catriona hair flip, because Naomi Campbell actually did it back in like the 90s or the 2000s. So really Naomi did it. And it could have been somebody even before her. Who knows? If you watch this channel because you're a pageant contestant preparing for your next competition, then I really encourage you to check out my Content Queen course. I'm going to link that in the description below. It's so great for any title holders or contestants who are trying to learn how to make the most out of social media during their time in pageantry to open up new doors of opportunity for themselves. So don't forget to check out the description. Next, let's talk about Bohol. Okay, wow. This gown is way sexier than the last gown we saw her compete in. I wish that she smiled just a little bit more, a little more pleasant facial expression, but outside of that, I still thought that the ending final look was really strong, and it was so pretty. I like the added elements of kind of a aqua or a sort of turquoise color added into the purple of the gown. Really pretty. If you're like me and evening gown is your favorite portion of the competition, comment gown down below. Tegig had some really cool cutouts on her gown, I must say that, and really beautiful straight hair. I like her hair flip at the end. It seems to be her signature. We also saw a little bit of this in swim. I do believe though that this performance could have been a little bit more fierce. She was so smiley and happy and bubbly. I just wanted to see a little bit more eye on the prize. Aklan, I must say, always does well with her facials. She really worked it here for gown. Victoria City, I really liked this gown on her. I liked the color. I thought it was a little bit daring. I liked her final pose a lot. She looked so beautiful. For Cebu City, I had to separate the gown from the performance because I feel like the gloves and the cape, it really hid her body when she walked down that runway. We lost all of her shape because it was so monochromatic. So I'm hoping maybe for a gown change for finals, that would be cool. And honestly, I love gown changes. Most of the time, I love them. I just wish that she did a little bit more at the end of the runway. I thought it was safe, but did just fine to be able to move on to a semifinal. Misamis Oriental, I liked the performance, but this was another contestant where I had to separate the gown from the performance because the gown itself was very distracting to me. At first, I thought she just walked out in a cocktail dress, which was very confusing. And then I realized, oh no, it's just this sheer skirt. And so I would have much preferred to have the bottom of that dress lined in nude versus that bright cobalt blue because it really took my attention away from her. Pangasinan, very unique color here. I'm completely rooting for her. I love the styling, love the feathers. She was almost like a 90s supermodel. I'm feeling the vibes. I really would love to see her in that top 5. Makati's gown looked very Beatrice inspired to me, so I'm very much hopeful that she will change this gown for finals because I just really wanted to see something different, something more unique to her. It was beautiful, and she did add in that spin turn that I talked about on gala night in my other episode. I liked that spin turn so much, and she threw it in here, so that was very well timed. Baguio, I'm assuming that she wore Leo Almodal. I'm not positive if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was a very, very beautiful gown on her, and this was a great performance. She just really is so talented with her facials and also just very stunning. That doesn't hurt, right? Deval del Norte also went with this bright green color, and I will say the bright pinks and greens are very on trend. Whenever you go to any store in the city, everything is green and pink this past spring. So we definitely saw that for the competition several times throughout. And I will say though about her performance, although the gown was daring, the performance was safe, it was perfect, it was solid. It should be more than enough for her to advance. I'm really cheering for her. Palawan, so confident. Oh my gosh, she was working it the entire time. Very, very beautiful gown on her, and I'm loving her. I love her so much. Deval del Sur did such a great job managing the fringe on her gown. Oh, friends, fringe is tricky and it is heavy. It is not easy to maneuver, so it was lovely to see on her. She looked like a bronze goddess in this piece. Now I'm going to share with you my ultimate fave for the evening gown competition. She is my evening gown award winner of the night. She's been in my other favorites for past episodes recently, but she has really proved herself during the preliminary competition, in my opinion, and that is Pasay. And what's great to see from her is that not only are her performances great, but I like that she talked about how she wants to bring a really vintage, old school look to the competition, and we've seen that time and time again. And although I think that when we look at this gown, it still is pretty modern, for me the vintage appeal is the flat bow that's on the center of it, because we see that in a lot of vintage styles, and also that her hair is pulled back here. I thought that that was a nice touch so that nothing about this gown overwhelmed her, because there is a lot going on there. It really did stand out. There's some great structure to the skirt of it, but the performance is right there. It was effortless. She better be in the top 5. She has to be. Those are my faves for evening gown. Which ones are yours? Leave them in the comments below. And let's always remember to be encouraging to the contestants because they read these things. So thank you for watching this episode and for supporting the channel. If you want to support it in another way, be sure to check out the merch store. And also let me know, now that this competition is coming to a close, what you would like to see next on the channel. And if you didn't get enough of these episodes, then you can check out this other one that I linked right here for the swimsuit competition, just in case you missed that one. But thank you for joining me for this episode, and I hope to see you next time.